This video is the beginning of our look at the nervous system. The human body system is very organized. We are eukaryotes that are multicellular, and your body is made up of 100 trillion cells. Those cells are organized to make up tissues. Those tissues are organized to make up organs, and the organs make up organ systems. In your body, you have 11 organ systems. They work together to maintain what we call homeostasis. That's just keeping stable internal body conditions, including your temperature, your pH balance, and different concentrations. The first of those is the nervous system, which recognizes and responds to the environment. You can see in the picture, it's your brain, your spinal cord, and the nerves that go out to the edges of your body. The next is called the integumentary system, or as you may know it, the skin. This is a barrier against injury and infection. You see in the picture there's multiple layers. We'll talk about this again a little bit later in another chapter. Then you have the respiratory system, provides oxygen to your body, and it removes carbon dioxide. So that would be the main function, or the main organ is your lungs. The digestive system converts foods into simpler molecules that the body can use. So these would be your stomach, your intestines, and then there's some auxiliary organs such as your liver and your gallbladder and your pancreas that all help you digest your solid foods. The excretory system eliminates waste, and that would be your urine. The main organs are your kidneys, and then that will actually clean your blood like a filter. Your skeletal system supports the body. There's many functions that we'll go over, and of course the main organ would be your different bones. The muscular system allows for movement of the body and organs, and it works hand in hand with the skeletal system to move you around. It also allows your organs to move. You don't really have to think about having your stomach crunch up your food, but it does it. Your circulatory system moves oxygen and nutrients through the body. So that's your heart and your blood vessels that get our cells everything that they need. The next is called the endocrine system. This controls growth and development. So that would be all of your hormones. The hormones come from different organs you can see in the picture, different glands that produce what we need. The reproductive system, it produces our reproductive cells, so that's different in the male or the female. The lymphatic or immune system help protect the body from disease. So those are 11 systems. Just to look, there are 4 types of tissues that make up your body. Epithelial would be basically the lining of the inside and outside of your body. Connective tissue support and connect your body. That would be bones, blood. Your nervous system transmits nerve impulses, and muscle allows for movement. All of these work together to maintain homeostasis. That's the process by which an organism keeps internal conditions relatively constant despite changes in external environments. So with that is feedback inhibition. To maintain that body temperature, they work together. So when you're cold, your muscles shiver, and that creates heat. When you're too hot, your skin will release sweat, and that cools you off. Similar to a thermostat in your house. You set the high temperature and the low temperature, and your air conditioning and heater work to keep the temperature correct. So looking just at the nervous system very quickly, the basics, it controls and coordinates functions in your body, and it responds to internal and external stimuli. So the cells that actually do that are called neurons. They transmit the impulses. So that's a picture of what a neuron looks like. It's the biggest cell in your body. Those neurons, you can kind of see them, and they're shaped very oddly because they're like cables. So here's a look at that cell, and it's a little bit big. So there are 4 parts to the neuron. The cell body is this whole cell here, right here. It has a nucleus. Then you have the dendrites. They would collect the impulse. You have the axon, which is kind of like this long tail. And then around the axon, these little purplish blue things are called the myelin sheath, and that's a form of insulation. There are 3 types of these neurons: sensory, motor, or interneurons. And it depends on where they are in the body and their function. Nerve impulses. All your nerves are at a resting potential. So that has to do with the charge on the inside and outside. An impulse begins when a neuron is stimulated. So if somebody touches you, that triggers the neurons, and that sends a signal straight up to your brainstem, and it tells you that somebody's touching you. It's caused by an impulse, and it changes what's called the action potential. Here's just a little picture. You can see the action potential is changed right here. These are all negative, but that little positive comes in, it lets sodium in, and the action potential continues on until it hits the end of the axon, and that is called the synapse. These are the locations at which a neuron transfers that impulse. This is where neurotransmitters come into play, chemicals used to transfer that impulse. So you've probably heard of some of these, or in reference to drugs. A lot of drugs like painkillers will stop these receptors from working, so you don't get the signal that you have pain, say, in your hand if you hit it with a hammer. So some of the normal neurotransmitters in our body are called norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, and histamine. So they are all these little yellow circles that are released in between the 2 axons. And that's all we're going to do for this video.